when I was gone, I briefly visited with Shirley about some updates with our 990 that we're going to have to comply with. And I had I gave a copy of legal to Tom. Did you get it?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And I know you probably did the same thing I did. It's like,
Sure, you're the only one.
and I just kept looking through it, and I'm like, so I needed to get to Shirley, and I have not had the chance. I'm just thinking about caught up here at the center, but I've asked her to come and briefly share her knowledge about what they're talking about, and she did, do out a nice work plan for the 990 compliance and meeting these changes, and that's how they're going to be changed when we report on our 990s. There's going to be questions there that they're going to have to answer, and we're going to have documentation of how we're doing it. And so, like you said, I sent out an agenda to you guys that was emailed, and if you look on the agenda that was printed, there was 3 was changed, because that was the question that we need to, we have called meeting to order, introductions, and then what does anyone have? So that was one of the, I call it hoops.
Sure.
Hoops and loops that we have to go through to comply with our 990.
Right.
Okay.
The new 990 form, which is your tax reform for nonprofits, has to have a whole lot of what they call due diligence because of things like CTAC and the Iowa School Board Association. Some of those things, it's happened all across the nation, and so everybody has to be in compliance with this. The new 990 form will be about 1/3 financial and about 2/3 governance, which means that you have to comply with some of the things that they recommend that you have. The questions on the 990 will say things that, do you have a whistleblower policy in place? And you have to say yes, pass the whistleblower policy. Do you have a conflict of interest in place? Do you have a disclosure of interest, policy? Do you have, if somebody comes in and makes a recommendation on Molly's salary, they will have to sign a conflict of interest for compensation, meaning they're not directly related to her. So basically what you do on your tax return is say, yes, we passed this, we have this policy in place, it was passed in August at our meeting, or in September at our meeting, so that all can be filled out when you file your 990. They are giving everybody a little bit of leeway on this if you don't get them all done, but I think it would be better if all of them had them done by the end of the year. We even went back in some of them and wrote, travel reimbursement policies and check signing policies and stuff like that. And I've provided Molly with a copy of all kinds of stuff.
The travel reimbursement one, we have a travel reimbursement form, but I'm sure there's a policy that needs to be, which I haven't seen that one, or the signing of the checks.
I sent all those to you today.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, and I don't remember if it was afternoon or morning because my day's a while, but it's just kind of nice to get them there. So basically the work plan that I sent her in, you have to adjust this accordingly. If your calendar year is December, January to December, then you just would mark that when you go over this. You can't do this just once. Every year at your annual meeting, then you would sign a new conflict of interest, a new disclosure statement and stuff like that, so that you can say that you are in compliance with the IRS regulations. It's interesting at best, and every time I go to a training, I get more. So Molly's not the only person that's asked for stuff, so I went ahead and put the work plan together for compliance, and then ended up writing policies and stuff and sharing them with all the nonprofits. So I can help walk you through this, that way you'll have all your compliance and state in place before you have to file your 990 return. And one of the things that a lot of people weren't doing is they would file the 990 return with the IRS before the board looked at it. They might provide you with a copy later. Well, you just have to change that. You just have to say it's our policy that the board reviews 990 before it's filed.
The whole board? It just can't be like the president and the vice president?
That's the whole board. Okay. And this conflict of interest thing at the beginning of your agenda, they recommend that you put that at the top of your agenda so that you can know if you do have a conflict, and if you do, then it has to be noted in the minutes. So, say Steve ran, I don't know, the grocery store and you were going to buy a bunch of food from them, then he would have to know that he would have a conflict with paying the bill at the grocery store, and therefore he would abstain from voting on that or whatever. So, and everybody and all agencies and whatever are hitting him with all of this stuff, so you're not the only one. So.
Does it apply to like the small nonprofits, like if your income's below a certain amount, or is it everybody?
You know, you have to file the 990 in. You're probably talking about library foundations because I've been asked about that a number of times across the county. You are supposed to be in compliance whether you have to file or not. So, yeah, so I can share some of those things with you if you need them, because we've sent them out to all kinds of museums to God knows what else. But everybody has to be in compliance now, so.
So we have, I mean, because we're getting ready, our fiscal year is
December.
No, July, or, yeah.
Okay, so you're at the end, so yeah, you can put them in place anytime during this next year. If you want to pass a couple policies every meeting or something like that, it probably would be best.
Because I was wondering if there was anybody here on the board that would, I mean, we have samples here, I've read them, but I think the committee would need to give a little advantage to read them and bring it to the board for a recommendation or approval of them after the committee. Can we do a small committee?
Like a compliance committee, sure.
Okay. So I'm looking for new committee people.
Does that go in our handbook then also? Or is
Sure, you have to put all your policies in your handbook, yes, and keep them updated. Yeah.
In a staff handbook? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the board handbook.
And the board?
Yeah.
Like a board, like what our...
Right, you can put together, well, or you can have just a notebook with your board policies.
Because I noticed
and
it
review
said,
them.
that it said they have like, you know, like a
Sure.
binder and then you can just keep them and...
Sure. And, you know, a lot of them, they talked about posting their policies online, and they said it's extremely difficult. If you do post them, they would want you to post them as PDFs so nobody can go in and change your policies, things like that. So it's kind of difficult to do that. Basically, we just recommend 3 ring binders. You know, everybody gets a copy of the policy. It's signed by the president. You put the binder. You know, you make sure that you're updated every year. That's why the work plan is there, so that you can change it. So that each year in a certain month you go over a whistleblower or something like that. So you do that. So
I mean, most of the stuff I read in there was a no-brainer. I mean, it's not like it's just down in black and white, and I know anymore if you don't have it in black and white.
And the whistleblower policy is only difficult because you have to designate one person on the board that's going to be the person that people are going to come to, the go-to person. So that's the only one as far as designated a specific task. So.